is up? It is your girl, and I realize it's been a while, you know, and I'm sorry for kind of disappearing on you guys, and, you know, things sort of happen, but I like to think that I'm back now, and what better way to be back than with a Comic-Con comic show sort of vlog follow me tour. You know, I am really excited about today. I have not been to a comic show or convention or anything like that in 2 years since we went into lockdown. And ironically enough, a Comic-Con show tour for First Day Comic-Con is one of the first ever videos I did on my channel, which I find very hilarious because 2 weeks later, we all went into lockdown. So here's hoping that we don't go into yet another lockdown and First Day Comic-Con isn't cursed. Either way, I am ridiculously excited. I have been cooped up for way too long. I need to get into some comic bins. I need to spend a copious amount of dumb bitch money, as my partner Jen would say. And let's have some fun today, guys. Let's do this. Alright gang, so we are finally here. It took a little longer than I expected to. My 10-minute commute turned into a 30-minute commute, but it's fine in the sake of comics. You know, I'm actually a little nervous today, and I don't know why, and I think it's because, I mean, it's the first convention that I've had in 2 years, or show, or whatever we want to call it. But if I'm being quite honest with you, the biggest thing I fear is a budget, because the last time that I was here, if you checked out the last vlog I did that's up on my channel, I dropped $75 in 5 minutes at one booth. So let's hope, but also not hope, that that same vendor is here today. So I'm excited. Okay, so good news, I haven't completely blown through my budget. I have spent a lot of money today, but I haven't blown my budget, and that's a good thing. So that means I am back out at my car because my bag was getting a little bit heavy. But I gotta say, it's a little weird doing a show post-COVID. I'm seeing that there aren't as many vendors here as there are usually, a lot of empty tables, and even stranger is it seems like a lot of the prices are just outrageous, if I can say that. I really do feel like ever since we went into lockdown, the prices of comics have extremely inflated. There's a lot of people here selling things that I could probably get for cover price at my local comic book shop, a lot of variant scalpers, a lot of something is killing the children, which is weird to see walls of just nothing but something is killing the children. Hair, if you could go away please, that would be fantastic. But it's just a really weird and odd experience. But I'm gonna head back inside. Hopefully I don't blow my budget completely, but I wouldn't mind picking up a couple other things while I'm here. That is it for First Day Comic-Con. I'm officially 3 hours in at this point. I have seen everything that I can see. I have bought all of the things that I can buy. That's a lie. I could definitely buy a whole lot more. I definitely did what I said I wasn't going to do, and that was blow my budget. But hear me out. I did pick up one of my Grail books that I have been searching for a very long time. I was able to get it at a very decent price, and I'm very excited because it is coming home with me. So that is everything. I'm extremely sweaty right now. Listen, while it is an essential thing, and I'm not going to argue with anybody on it, Digging in a mask just hits different, and I'm a little sweaty right now. So let's go home, let's cool off, let's show off everything I got. We haven't been here in a while. I cannot express how good it feels to be back, not only back in the studio, because it has been a little while, and again, I'm so sorry you guys, but it just feels good to be back out in the wild, digging amongst my peers and my friends, and I miss comics so much. Now, like I said earlier in their video, this is literally my first show post-COVID, so again, First Day Comic-Con was my last show before lockdown and before COVID, so I cannot stress enough how good it feels, but also how weird it feels to be back, because a lot of things have changed. Like I stated, a lot of people were inflating their prices. I mean, I keep saying this, it feels like the comic book market has kind of spiked in a ridiculous sort of way ever since we went into lockdown. It's almost like y'all found out how cool comic books are. Feeling of being out there and being at a show or a convention or whatever it may be, it is a feeling like no other, and is nothing that I would trade for the world. And as you can see, I picked up a lot of really cool new things. That's also one of the other things too, is it feels like ever since we went into lockdown, my tastes and the characters that I love and these characters that I'm searching for, they've kind of developed and evolved, because before it was like I had almost found everything that I had wanted, especially when we think about DC, because I do tend to sway very DC heavy. It feels like at this point in the game, almost everything I could ever want in terms of DC Comics, or at least that in which I can afford, I kind of have. So going into lockdown, I basically spent a lot of time curating my love for these Marvel characters. I'm now in love with characters like X-23 and Magic and Scarlet Witch and She-Hulk and of course Emma Frost. And now it's like I'm out and I'm digging and I'm searching for books particularly for them and covers particularly for these ladies and for these characters. So it almost feels like I've kind of refreshened my love and my taste for comics. And that's always a great feeling. As you can see, I picked up lots of things for all of my favorite ladies, like I just happened to mention Magic, X-23, She-Hulk, Emma Frost. I got some really great Scarlet Witch books. There's a couple of Scarlet Witch books in particular that I didn't even know existed, and I feel like those are my favorite books to find, because I'm that type of person that does happen to sit on the internet a lot and be like, I want this book and this book and this book and this book. But then there's some like really weird variants for titles like Avengers No Way Home that I would never think to look under, and I find a super special variant cover for one of these characters, which I happen to do today for Scarlet Witch. So I'm really excited when I find books like this, and there's always this cute little gasp and this little and I get really excited over it, because I mean, who doesn't get excited over comics? There are two things in particular though that I'm really excited about in today's haul. The first one is this really cool printing for Four Kids Walk Into a Bank, which is a trade by Black Mask Comics and is one of my favorite comic books of all time. Now, of course, I do own the trade, but apparently this is a special Third Eye Comics exclusive comic cover for this trade in particular. So because this is one of my favorite books, of course I had to snag this up, and the fact that I was able to pick it up for only $5 when the trade normally retails for $20, I'm just a ridiculously happy girl. Now, while this show in particular, I didn't really focus too much in trades, if I'm being quite honest with you. I tend to reserve trade digging and trade hunting for bigger shows like Baltimore Comic-Con. I did happen to snag this trade for Plastic. This is a series that I had been reading in single issues, and I had issues 1 through 3 and could never find 4 and 5. So I'm really happy that I was able to snag this one today for $10, and I'm finally going to be able to complete the series. This is one of those really weird titles where a guy falls in love with a blow-up doll and decides to murder a whole bunch of people for her. So if you want weird, kind of sexual, weirdly stuff, you know, like I'm into, this might be the book for you. The last thing that I want to share with you guys is I passed this on the show floor a couple times and I told myself, no, don't do it. No, don't do it. No, don't do it. Because I felt like I had already spent enough money as it was. And this last purchase completely blew my budget. But if I'm being quite honest with you, it was probably one of the most important things that I picked up today. That's right. I was finally able to pick up my own copy of Batman 386, which sports the first appearance for Black Mask, which, as you know, is one of the prominent and founding members, I might add, of the Scumbag Boyfriend Army. I'm not the type of person that likes to drop a whole lot of money, especially when it comes to one book. So for this book in particular, I was able to narrow the guide down to about $35, which is kind of unheard of for this book because it's spiking for a lot more than that, especially with his recent appearance in Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. However, seeing it on the wall and seeing it in front of me and seeing it at that price that I was able to kind of negotiate him down to, I knew I had to bring it home with me. Feels like I've kind of collected a lot of the things that I have been looking for, variant covers and this and that and odd ends here and there. So it feels like when I go to these shows at this point now, I'm focusing on a lot of my grails and picking up a lot of these first appearances and key books that I might have missed out on early in my collecting career, if we want to call it. So every time I'm able to add one of those books into my collection, whether it's finding it out in a dollar bin or finding it out in a discount bin where it was secretly hidden away, or seeing it on a wall and being able to negotiate it down to a price that I feel kind of comfortable with, you know, it always makes me really, really happy. So I'm extremely excited to have Black Mask in my collection. Roman Sionis is a total babe and I love him so much. Even if he's a creepy serial killer, that's okay. We'll just ignore that last part. So I'm really excited to add one more book to my Grail first appearance collection, and I'm hoping that there are so many more on the way. I know I keep saying it, but I can't stress enough how good it feels to be back into comics. You know, being away from it for 2 years, it was honestly way too long because I've been doing this for about 10 years now, where I go to 2 to 3 to 4 shows a year, and not being able to do any for 2 whole years, it felt like a part of my soul was sucked out, and now we're getting back into it. I had First Day Comic-Con this weekend. I have Baltimore Comic-Con coming up next month, and I'm ridiculously excited to just get out there, see all of my favorite people, go through all of my favorite bins, and just kind of be at peace and be where I belong as that comic girl. Thanks so much for coming along with me to this journey today, friends. I hope you guys had a blast. I always have a blast filming these sort of things, and I remember when I first started my channel and I did one of these videos and I was like, oh, I can't wait to do so much more. I have a convention in a week that I'm going to be filming, and then we went into lockdown, and you know, I'm just hoping, knock on wood, we don't go into lockdown again. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. You're wonderful. If you're old to the channel and you've been here since the beginning, thank you. I love you so much. Thank you for sticking it out with me. I know these past couple months I haven't created any sort of content. I kind of left you guys in the wind, and I do apologize about that. I am still active pretty much every Sunday over on Comic Books Will Break Your Heart and our Sunday show Casually Comics that I do with my favorite lady, Jen. I'll leave links in the description below. But I'm sorry, like, things happen, and I know I don't have to apologize, but I love you guys and I respect you guys way too much to not apologize. So I'm hoping, I have a bunch of things planned and brainstormed and in the works. I'm hoping to have way more content for you guys soon. I'm hoping to be back to regularly posting and creating and just being there for you guys, because at the end of the day, that's why I created this channel, was to have a safe space for all of us to kind of discuss and talk and listen. And you know, I love it. I really do. I love it so much. So thank you all for sticking with me. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye!